it's a coincidence because it's actually not a sample. I wrote something. I was inspired by I believe it's a Shostakovich piece. And then I played it for somebody, and they're like, that sounds like Peter Fox. And I heard the Peter Fox record, and I think he sampled the same section. Though mine wasn't a sample, I was just inspired by it. But it's cool, and I like the Peter Fox line.
I picture him like crowd surfing,
that's
how he flies. It's like a crowd of like 30 people, like he flies like it's 5.5 feet off the ground, not very fast. Definitely.
Like Wonder Woman's jet, he has like an invisible crowd that surfs him everywhere. Yeah. You or I might not think that. Might not think of that phrase, might not just pop into our heads, but sometimes in conversation, you almost speak that way. You almost speak in, it's kind of like your poetry is so intertwined into your personality that you do automatically think of to describe things in that way. So I think that there's kind of a real, that's kind of really exciting for me as a co-writer to tap into that, because it's almost just Pete talking. It's almost just Pete, feeling something.
Well, the real truth is, the hot tip on burning vinyl is vinyl doesn't really burn. It just melts very quickly. So you need to put a lot of other things in to make the fire happen. So there's more wood and paper being burned than vinyl. but symbolically, we did burn some vinyl.
Leading up to our last record, I think there was always even a hint of fear about, I don't know if we should do this, By this record, it's all gone, kind of. There's really not a lot of fear about, I read we were supposed to be a pop punk band, and pop punk sounds like this, so we should sound like this. Or I read we were supposed to be an emo band, and emo sounds like this, so this should sound like this. And now I feel like all those fears are gone.
We're like too rock to be a pop band, and we're like too pop to be a rock band, so we walk a very fine line, and sometimes we go a little too far to either side. But when it works at its best, I think it's like on that balance beam, and Butch is the kind of person who can work with like Pink, and then he can work with like rock bands in Nashville. He's got this realness about him that makes pop a little more gritty, so it was a cool experience.
Okay, what about, this was really funny to me. Yesterday we were in Paris, and we were doing interviews, and we were talking about the title of our last record, which is in French, but we all pronounced it so American, I guess, that no one in France understood the title of our Folie à Deux. They're like, what?
So bizarre.
It was really funny. It was really embarrassing, because I'm like, that's your word. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm butchering your language so much.
That's cool. This is the right way to like relaunch the band, I think. I mean, these are the venues we were playing the first time around, and that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like we've played all different kinds of venues, and they're all great for different reasons. I mean, there's something really intimate and special about smaller shows.
Playing a show in an arena isn't the same thing as playing a show in a small club, and I think the best bands that I know can do both, and you really have to have those muscles to do both. And so I think if we came back straight into arenas, we run the risk of forgetting how to be a good band in a small room. You have to earn it again. You have to warrant people coming to see you,
I think of like our last names, because they're very German. Wenz and Stumpf. Honestly, so.
Yeah, I think that's probably the first thing I think about, is because, we're so far removed from Germany, but the majority of my ancestors came from Germany, so that's kind of a strange thing to be like, oh, I'm home but not, like I've been here like a few times, but and my family hasn't been here for 150 years, so that's kind of a weird. I feel like an incredibly American thing because no one from America is from America. You know, like is distantly from America. You know.
But I feel like Germany is a place that reminds me of home in ways because you play like Hamburg or Frankfurt or Stuttgart or whatever. Like they're just all so different, and it in some ways makes me feel less homesick because that's the way the U.S. is.
My mom used to try to do anything she could to try and instill in me the idea of earning money, you know. So even when I was really little, you know, I had chores, and I would get like a quarter for every time I would clean the bathroom or something. I think was one of my chores, or was the chore I get paid for, and so I would. It didn't really work though because when I wanted something, I would work, and when I didn't want something, I just didn't work. So I just didn't clean the bathroom; just wouldn't get cleaned. So when I would go to the store and I'd see like a toy, and I'd be like, "Oh, I want that toy. How much is it? That's $5. Okay, I'll have to clean how many bathrooms? Okay, I can do that." And then I would clean the bathroom until I could afford the toy.
I worked at the concession stand at the public pool in my town, and basically spent an entire summer just eating nacho cheese and not doing anything else. Like we did not work at all. Well, I have a 4-year-old, so the first thing in that case is, you're just up, and we go downstairs and get right into whatever. A lot of questions usually.
Because I lost a lot of weight, you know, and since I did, I kind of like worked out the system where like I eat a lot in the morning, and then kind of the rest of the day I eat very little. So the first thing I do when I get up is I go downstairs and eat, just like crazy. Mine actually would be the Phoenix. I was inspired by that Shostakovich piece. Kind of weird. It's almost the heaviest thing without being metal or any kind of traditionally heavy thing, and that really spoke to me. And I was like, I need to do that. I need to make that.
I think mine's already did in the dark. Just cause none of it really makes sense, you know. Like it seems perfect for the radio right now because it just doesn't sound like anything on the radio, and I like being the oddball. I like us being the oddballs.